Welcome to the Current Affairs series of July 22nd, 2017. Let's look at some headlines for the day. Alright, let's get to know about this Integrated Child Development Services. Now, this is a centrally sponsored scheme, meaning it is run by the Government of India. It aims at holistic development of children below 6 years of age. And from the name of this program, that is Integrated Child Development, you can easily figure out that it has to be children. But then the point is to remember it has to be below 6 years of age. Now with the addition of this word integrated, you also have to include the motherly aspect of this, because children below 6 years of age need their mother. Hence, we can say that this service or this scheme is a centrally sponsored scheme for the welfare of children under 6 years of age and their mothers. Now the aim of this program is to provide food, preschool education and primary health care. Now I'm going to cover these three parts separately: food, preschool education and primary health care. So when we see the word food, you need to understand that the government is going to provide the food, the nutritional part, from the public distribution center, which is the ration shop. So the food part is covered by the ration shop, PDS. Now comes the education part. By education, we mean preschool non-formal education. The education is given from the Anganwadi centers. I hope you all know what is an Anganwadi. So Anganwadi is a type of rural mother and child care center in India. So it's like a daycare center, it's like an education center. So it is an important aspect of Integrated Child Development Scheme. So the preschool non-formal education is covered by the Anganwadis. And the third aspect, which is primary health care. Even this service is provided by the Anganwadi centers. So the Anganwadi center provides basic healthcare and pre-formal education. So if you go to these Anganwadis, you'll see that kids are given vaccines or immunization drugs, all this kind of things. Now apart from these three services, that is food, preschool education and primary healthcare, the Integrated Child Development Services also intend to combat gender inequality by providing girls the same resources as boys. So the promotion of gender equality is an important aspect of Integrated Child Development Services for reducing the infant mortality rate. Because you know that in most of the places in India, a baby girl is killed because of the want of a boy. So to overcome that kind of a mindset, these kind of steps have been taken by this Integrated Child Development Services. Now here's a very important point that I wanted to mention. You see, all the governmental schemes are interlinked with each other. So just like how I made a connection between this public distribution system, that is the ration shop, and then Anganwadi, I connected these things with the Integrated Child Development Scheme. Similarly, you also have to understand this way that the government is also undertaking construction of Anganwadi centers. I mean, they need more and more AWCs, Anganwadis. Now, just think about it. Which department of the government or which scheme of the government is going to cover this construction part? Can you think about it? Now, don't you think government can make use of this scheme called Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme? So these people who are registered under Manrega, government can make use of them for the construction of Anganwadis, right? So in other words, if I have to say, government can create supply and demand, right? So you see how government schemes are interlinked with each other. If you understand it this way, then you will easily remember these schemes. And if you understand the interlinkage, then it will be beneficial for you in the answer writing during exams. Or maybe you can also write your own opinion editorial article for newspapers. So anyways, I hope you got my point and you have also understood the Integrated Child Development Scheme. Let's get to know about this UDAY scheme. UDAY stands for Ujwal DISCOM Assurance Yojana. Now this program is supported by the Ministry of Power. Now I'll tell you what this program is all about. So as per this program, the Government of India, that is the central government, is going to provide financial revival packages for electricity distribution companies of India. So the main thing to note over here is the electricity distribution companies of India. So these are called DISCOMs. So DISCOMs means distribution companies, electricity distribution companies of India. So I'll quickly tell you how electricity is distributed in India. So there's going to be this big power plant that produces electricity, right? So with the help of transmission system, the electricity is supplied to a bulk power substation. So every state has a bulk power substation. Now this bulk power distribution does a little math. They find out about an area as to how many districts are there and how many people are staying there and what's the length of the district. and then they distribute on area basis. Let's take an example. Let's say there's an area of 800 kilometers. Now in that you have 19 districts or 20 districts, whatever that you want to take. Let's say in those districts total 15 lakhs or 20 lakh customers are there. So based on this calculation, they invest money in the infrastructure. I mean the wires and transmission lines and all those kind of things. Now what happens is, from this bulk power station, when you give the electricity to that particular area, in that area, that electricity is given in three formats. One is the industrial substation, then there is a distribution substation, and then there's another distribution substation. I'll tell you about each one of them. So under this first industrial substation, in that the electricity is actually given to these large industrial loaded companies because they need constant electricity, because they are like the manufacturing sector of the nation. You cannot shut them. You cannot, halt their work. So they need continuous electricity. In fact, their transmission is also very high. The bandwidth of the electricity supplied to them is also very high. Now let's go to the second distribution substation. Now through this second one, electricity is supplied to industrial or large commercial load. Now these industries are a little smaller one. They are not the heavy load industries, but they are still commercial ones. So even they need constant electricity. Now let's go to the third distribution substation. So from this substation, electricity is given to two kind of customers. One is the commercial customer, the other one is the residential. Residential people are like us, electricity that comes to our house. And the commercial electricity is to these shops and small businesses. So this is the overall distribution system layout. Now you see this dotted rectangle area in which all these substations come. This is where maximum wastage of electricity occurs. Now wastage can be in the form of leakages. Sometimes people steal electricity, or because of transmission loss, birds and trees that touch the transmission line, there's electricity loss in that. So this is what is causing heavy loss to the electricity distribution companies in India. That's why the central government has decided to help the state governments and the distribution companies with this program. So this program acts like a reform across the entire power sector. And the whole idea is to make power accessible and affordable to the people of India. Now this scheme is optional for all states, meaning it's not mandatory. So you can see it this way. This program is an incentive to the states, and it's a beneficial incentive. So looking at the benefit side, the states will then improve their distribution transmission system, and then they can avail this financial revival package. So till now, 27 states and union territories have joined this scheme. So from this scheme, one thing to remember is that power generation is not the problem in our country. Distribution is the problem. So just remember this, that this scheme is an incentive to the distribution companies and the states, so that the states and distribution companies can improve their operational efficiencies, like their transmission lines or better transformers, then smart metering and all those kind of things, because these are causing heavy loss to the electricity department. And if the operation is efficient, then just think about it. It's going to reduce the cost of power. Try to relate this. We have a lot of water stored in reservoirs, but then if people don't use the water efficiently, or the distribution of water is not efficient, then how much ever water we have, it will all get over. So in the similar way, we have the potential to generate adequate electricity, but the distribution of electricity is messed up. So this was all about the UDAY scheme. Let's get to know about this Pradhan Mantri Bhartiya Janaushadhi Kendras. So if you look at this word Janaushadhi, it means medicines for people. So the objective of the scheme is to make quality medicines available at affordable prices for all, particularly the poor and disadvantaged, through exclusive outlets like Janaushadhi Medical Store. So it will reduce the pocket expenses for poor people who cannot afford these medicines. So looking at this scheme, it reminds me of the country France. In France, the French government runs the public pharmacy, meaning the government runs the medical stores. So every French citizen or a long-term resident have this card called Vital. It's like a smart card. And then if you have a prescription of certain medicines, then you can get that for free by showing that card. Or if you don't have the prescription, then you can get a huge discount on that particular medicine if you show the card. So the important thing to note here is that you should have a prescription and Vital card. So the same thing I see in this program as well, in the Indian version of this. There is medical store, Janaushadhi center, and I think if you go there, they're going to ask you for prescription as well as for your Aadhaar card. So that was a quick relevance of a similar program that exists in a foreign country. So just remember the word Janaushadhi, meaning medicines for public. Let's get to know about this Consumer Protection Bill 2015. So by the date you can figure out that this bill was introduced in Lok Sabha on August 10, 2015. So the name of the bill says Consumer Protection, therefore it falls under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So prior to this, there was another bill called Consumer Protection Act of 1986. And the present Consumer Protection Bill 2015 replaces that. There are a lot of laws that have been modernized and new forms of consumer protection activities have been included. So as per this bill, the definition of a consumer is defined as a person who buys a good or hires a service for a consideration. So basically people like you and me who go and buy things for our consumption. So under this bill, there are certain rights of the consumer, such as the first one is, I'll just quickly tell you, to be protected against marketing of goods and services which are hazardous to life and property, meaning they will clearly tell you what is this product about. They are not going to hide it. And the second point is, you will be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of the goods or services. That's why you see whenever you buy something, a soap or oil or anything, on that packet you can see all the ingredients, at what percentage, the rate and all those kind of things mentioned. And the third point is that you will be sold the goods or services at a competitive price, meaning the manufacturer or the creator is not going to cheat you. You may find a little variation in the prices of a good, maybe a little bit up and down, but then you are not going to be cheated by a very different margin of price at a different location for a similar product. And the last point is that Consumers Disputes Redressal Commission. Let's say because of some product you faced some personal injury or property damage, then you have an option to sue the manufacturer of that product. So this was a quick summary of the Consumer Protection Bill 2015. The government has approved for strategic disinvestment of BEML. Now BEML stands for Bharat Earth Movers Limited. So it's an Indian public sector undertaking, PSU. So BEML manufactures a wide range of products to meet the needs of mining, construction, power, irrigation, fertilizer, cement, steel and rail sector. So basically all earth moving equipments like bulldozers, then dump trucks, hydraulic excavators, then wheel loaders, walking drag lines, motor graders and scrapers. All those big heavy machines are built by this company. So the government of India has approved for strategic disinvestment of BEML. So the meaning of disinvestment is selling or liquidating an asset. Here they're talking about strategic disinvestment, meaning they're going to carefully analyze the loss and debt and then carefully see what part should be sold now, or all those kind of things. So strategic disinvestment means carefully look at the assets of a particular organization and do all kinds of asset evaluation before selling it. So lately the government of India is doing a lot of strategic disinvestment of PSUs. So recently they did that with SAIL, that is Steel Authority of India plants, and then to Air India, and now we see about BEML. Check out my current affair video of July 18th. In that I've explained how this strategic disinvestment is done. Just look at the description of that video, you can see the timestamp, click on that and directly watch it. Let's get to know about this Atal Pension Yojana launched by the Government of India. So this scheme was launched by the Government of India on May 2015. So the primary target of this scheme is that let's provide pension plans for unorganized sectors and informal workers. So unorganized worker is a home-based worker or a self-employed worker or a wage worker. Let's say you're working in a shop. So that's an unorganized worker. Or let's say laborers, that you find on the road, you can just hire them for a day job. So they are unorganized workers. Like this, there are a lot of works that together forms unorganized sector. So if you see in this sector, there is no structure. You don't have any sort of security or any health benefit. So if you hire a laborer for a job at your house, and once the work is done, you just pay the money in cash. That's it. So there's no electronic payment because probably they don't even have a bank account. Second, they don't want their money to get taxed. Third, they don't have any benefits. For example, today they have this job, tomorrow they might not have any work. They don't even work for some organization which is giving them health cover or pension or policy benefits. So this is called unorganized sector. So looking at this scenario, the Government of India announced this Atal Pension Yojana. So the government is saying that, look, if you subscribe to this program, then you are guaranteed to get pension from rupees 1000 to rupees 5000 per month. So this plan is based on your age, then how many years do you want to contribute, and how much pension do you want, that is 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000 or 5000 per month. So based on that, there is a chart, there is a table. I'll not go through it. I'm going to just put that chart in front of you. Just have a look at it. So what the government is saying that whatever that you contribute per month, and if you do the addition of it, you get the yearly contribution. So the government is going to pay 50% of that contribution. Meaning, let's say you are able to pay 1000 rupees per year. Okay, per year, not month. Let's say you are adding 1000 rupees per year to this scheme. So the government is going to add 500 from their side. So total you have 1500 deposit. And let's say someone is a subscriber and that person died. So their spouse or their nominee can continue this scheme with whatever the amount that person left. So you see, this scheme is transferable. So it's a good thing. So the whole point of any pension scheme is that when you reach an elderly age, that is 60 plus, you should have some sort of financial security. So that's the ultimate idea behind all pension scheme. And also if you subscribe to any pension scheme, you also get tax benefit on it. So this was all about your Atal Pension Yojana. So these were the important current affair materials that I've found in the news of July 22nd. Keep an eye on the description of these videos for any repeating news. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. As usual, thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.